Are you looking for a way to assess speaking skills in your language classroom without feeling like it's a guessing game? In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can objectively assess spoken language with a few simple strategies that are both practical and easy to implement, starting right now. Alright, let's dive into what it really takes to set clear, specific criteria for speaking success. Because, let's be honest, assessing spoken language can feel overwhelming. We want our students to shine, but how do we make sure they know exactly what's expected without overwhelming them? Use a rubric with clear descriptors. Imagine this. Your students walk up to give their speaking assessments and they already know what you're looking for. With a solid rubric, that's exactly what happens. Instead of the vague speak fluently goals, try setting out crystal clear criteria. For example, have sections like fluency, pronunciation, content with simple specific descriptors like student speaks in complete sentences or uses target language accurately. Now, students have a map of exactly what success looks like. No guessing games. When they know what you're listening for, they're way more likely to bring their best to the table. And honestly, aren't we all just a bit happier when the expectations are clear and upfront? Focus on one skill per assessment. Now here's where the magic really starts to happen. Focus on one skill at a time. Instead of assessing fluency, pronunciation, and content all in one go, break it down. One assessment. Focus on just fluency. Next time, switch to pronunciation. The payoff? Your students don't feel like they're juggling a dozen things at once. And when they can focus, they get better at each skill faster, and they're less likely to freeze up or get discouraged. Plus, with this approach, you'll start seeing stronger results across the board because you're meeting them where they are, one skill at a time. Next, share examples of strong and weak responses. Let's give them a peek behind the curtain. When students hear what a strong response sounds like versus a weak one, it's like turning on a light bulb. Whether you use recordings of past student examples, with permission of course, or you script some samples yourself. Showing students what you mean takes the mystery out of the assessment. They'll hear what you're listening for. Maybe it's clear pronunciation, a steady pace, or fully developed ideas. Suddenly, they're not just guessing. They know exactly what they're aiming for. And here's the best part. You'll see them reaching that bar because you've made it visible. So there you have it. A clear rubric, a one-skill focus, and concrete examples can turn speaking assessments into something students actually feel ready for. Give these tips a try and watch as your students hit those speaking targets like pros. Let's jump into how structured speaking tasks can take your classroom assessments to a whole new level. When students know what to expect, they're more likely to give a performance that truly reflects their skills, and you get more consistent, reliable data. Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, here's how to make it happen in a way that feels natural, simple, and most importantly, doable. Implement the Think, Pair, Share. Let's start with a classic Think, Pair, Share. Now you might be thinking, I've used this a million times. But for speaking assessments, it's a game changer. Give students a few seconds to collect their thoughts, then have them pair up with a buddy to practice their response. This is where the magic happens. They get a chance to organize and rehearse what they're about to say without the pressure of being put on the spot. Once they're feeling more confident, then they can share their polished response with the whole class or small group. Not only are you going to see more consistent responses, but you're also going to see students who actually want to participate. This structure is like a mini confidence boost, and by the time they reach you, they're ready to shine. Next, you can use simple question prompts. So this strategy seems so simple, you might wonder how powerful it could actually be. Straightforward question prompts. But here's the catch. Stick with open-ended questions that are still easy to answer. Think about describing something like, describe your favorite food, or tell us about your dream vacation. These kinds of questions give students a familiar, flexible framework without feeling like they're jumping through hoops. And the best part, you get a peek into how they organize their ideas. Use key vocabulary and maintain fluency without needing complex setups. It's structured, but also leaves room for students to bring their personality and creativity to the table. This balance between structure and freedom lets you see their real capabilities without the pressure. Finally, let's get into one of those most engaging ways to assess speaking, role-playing with specific phrases. Picture this. You assign students roles like restaurant server and customer or travel agent and tourist and give them a handful of target phrases they need to use in their interactions. Not only does this help them practice vocabulary and grammar in a way that feels meaningful, but it also lets you see how well they can keep up a natural-sounding conversation. The best part? You're assessing them on actual communicative skills in context. This isn't just a speak perfectly drill. It's a chance for students to demonstrate their ability to use language in a practical, real-world way. And as they get into character, you'll find they're more relaxed and expressive, which gives you an even richer data to work with. Now, by structuring speaking tasks with these methods, you're giving your students a framework for success and setting yourself up for objective, meaningful assessments. Try these out and you'll be amazed at how well they work in capturing your students' true language skills. Before we wrap up, if you're loving these tips and want to dive even deeper into strategies that make comprehension-based teaching a game changer, don't miss the Comprehended 2025 conference. This is the ultimate event for language teachers ready to take their classes beyond the textbook and transform learning with comprehensible input. We've lined up an incredible roster of speakers and sessions, and the best part, you can join from anywhere, your couch, classroom, or favorite coffee spot. So if you're ready to revolutionize your teaching, head over to comprehended.co/register and grab your access pass. Don't wait, spots are filling up and you won't want to miss this. See you there. Okay, let's talk real-time feedback, because nothing beats getting those aha moments right when the learning is fresh. When students receive immediate actionable insights, they're not just practicing, they're improving on the spot. But here's the trick. Real-time feedback doesn't need to be complicated to be effective. With a few simple strategies, you can keep the feedback loop open and have your students leveling up their speaking skills in no time. First up, we've got a little technique I like to call glow and grow. Picture this. A student finishes their speaking task and you've immediately give them one glow, a strength, and one grow, something to work on. No lengthy critique, no overwhelming notes, just a quick highlight of what they nailed and one specific area they can improve next time. Students love this because they walk away knowing exactly what went well and where to focus. It's amazing how this small habit can turn the whole assessment experience around. They feel recognized for their effort and they're ready to hit the ground running on their next try. Now let's talk about getting the whole class involved. Peer feedback isn't just a time saver. It's also a powerful tool for helping students become better listeners and critical thinkers. By organizing them into small groups with a basic feedback form, think clear pronunciation or complete sentences, students get to assess each other in a structured way. As they listen and provide their insights, they're reinforcing what good speaking sounds like. Plus, you're circulating to listen in, so you can chime in where needed. And here's the best part. Students often value peer feedback just as much as teacher feedback because it feels like friendly advice. It's supportive, immediate, and let's be honest, way more engaging than a grade on a paper. Lastly, here's a strategy that combines technology with self-reflection. Recording and reviewing. By using audio or video recordings of their speaking tasks, students get the chance to listen back and evaluate their performance against the rubric. There's something powerful about hearing themselves. Suddenly they notice areas they might not have realized needed work, like pacing or pronunciation. This reflective practice helps students become more self-aware and independent in their learning journey. And for you, it's a fantastic way to give feedback that sticks because they're actively involved in identifying their own strengths and growth areas. With real-time feedback strategies like these, you're creating a classroom where improvement isn't just a goal, it's a constant, exciting reality. Give these a try and watch your students thrive with every assessment. Thanks for hanging out and diving into these speaking assessment tips with me. If you're ready to take things up a notch, check out the next video on the top 5 speaking assessment strategies. It's packed with even more quick wins for your classroom. But before you go, I'd love to know, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to assessing speaking in your class? Drop it in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you. And as always, happy comprehensible input.